Hey, welcome to part 3 of my 4-part video series on the symptoms of breast implant illness. Today, we're going to be talking about the mental and emotional health symptoms that a lot of us feel with breast implant illness. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it some love by hitting the like button below, and also subscribe to my channel so that you can catch all of my videos pre and post explant surgery. The first thing I want to share with you all that has taken me quite a while to believe myself is that you are not crazy. You're not over exaggerating. You're not a hypochondriac. You're not attention seeking. You're not imagining it, and you're not lazy. Did any of that resonate with you? Because I know that I have felt all of those things throughout this past year or so that my symptoms have been getting worse. We all hear the term mind over matter a lot, but I just want you to know the way you're feeling is a matter of fact with medical cause. It's not something you're creating in your mind, and it's not something that you could just switch off by not thinking about it. Of course, there are ways that we can cope and stay positive to keep showing up for ourselves so that we don't just go and curl up into a little ball until our explant date comes around. I know that I have felt like that sometimes. I just want to go to bed for the next 3 months until my explant. But, you know, we do have to keep showing up for ourselves every day. That's a part of this process. But I just want you to know that if you're struggling and you're feeling a bit poo, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up for it, okay? I had to remind myself of that. I wanted to get that out the way first because it's taken me a while to be able to say, I have breast implant illness. And yes, I am suffering with X, Y, and Z symptoms without feeling like I'm saying something kind of freaking crazy. The crazy feeling is hard to deal with because you feel isolated. You feel like no one understands you. You feel like it's all in your head. And it's natural to start shaming yourself, down-talking yourself, losing confidence. I've talked about how some of the physical symptoms have really been impacting my self-esteem and my body image. Isn't it ironic that I originally got implants to improve my self-esteem, to feel sexier, to feel more womanly, and yet now they are the cause of my physical insecurity. Crazy. As well as the physical symptoms, breast implant illness also causes mental health symptoms like depression, anxiety, panic attacks. To be honest, I don't know if the silicone is the direct cause of these symptoms, or if the other symptoms of the silicone toxicity, such as like the pain, the shortness of breath, the heart palpitations, the fatigue and the brain fog, all of those things are what spark the mental health issues. I think it's all entwined. Waking up feeling unwell almost every day, feeling fatigued and constantly plagued with some sort of pain or symptom popping up really wears you down emotionally. My anxiety has been at a real high, and anxiety is something that I used to suffer with quite bad in my younger days. And it really sucks to have that feeling kicking my ass every day again. I have a lot of anxiety most days at the moment. I've stopped drinking any coffee because I found that I've become very caffeine sensitive, and it makes the anxiety in my sleep way worse. I have an entire toolbox of techniques to manage anxiety and mindset. That is literally what I do. I practice meditation, visualization, positive affirmations, breathing exercises. I do all that good stuff. And yes, it helps. It does help. And, you know, I suggest if you are in a place of struggle right now that you do take a look at introducing some daily practices, some daily mindset practices into your routine, just to take the edge off. But even so, when you keep pushing through and fighting it every day, eventually you just want to break down and cry. Thank God I have support. My mom is extremely understanding, especially since she's had her implants for over 20 years now. And so she's really on this journey with me, supporting me, holding my hand, and also learning a lot along the way about, you know, why she might be feeling some of the things that she's feeling too. And I'm so fortunate that my boyfriend is supportive, even though a lot of this stuff kind of defies his very logical brain and mind over matter way of thinking. You know, even though he's loving and supportive of whatever I decide to do with my body, which is just incredible, and I love him so much for that, he still doesn't fully understand. And of course he won't. I mean, I think the only way he'd really get it is if he had silicone implants in his balls that were making him sick. Yes, I just said that. But sometimes I get frustrated because I find myself pushing him away or shutting him out or being extra moody. With all of this, it's really easy to fall into a dark place because you feel alone and misunderstood. The only people that really understand what you're going through are the other women that are going through it or have been through it already. Which is why it's so important to find yourself an amazing support system of women who get it. There are some incredible Facebook groups out there, seriously. And that's how I got a lot of information and support and encouragement and advice and just a sense of belonging. And I've also created a Facebook group myself called Empowered Explant, exactly for this purpose and to really bring more attention to the healing. There are many women out there who can't even talk to their partners about this subject at all. And other women who have talked to their husbands about getting their implants out and their husbands have said no. I can't even imagine how emotionally scarring it would be to have your husband put the size of your boobs before your health. That would just honestly be heartbreaking. And I know it's happening out there, which is even more reason why we need to come together and support each other as women going through breast implant illness and explant surgery. Feeling like your brain isn't working the way it used to, feeling like you're constantly in this foggy daze, listening to this constant ringing in your ears. It makes you feel like you're broken. Then there's the fear. And despite my positive mindset and complete faith that I'm making the right decision to explant, and I truly believe that, there are very valid fears that I have to face and work through. Fear number one, the pain that I have in my boobs, more so in my left breast, makes me really feel like there's something wrong. I'm really worried. And I have a fear that my left side might be ruptured, which, you know, could be reason why all of my symptoms are just coming in full force at the moment. But it's really scary to not know what they're going to find when they go in, when I go into surgery and they cut these things open and take a look inside. What are they going to find? That's really scary. Fear number two. I fear losing sensation in my left nipple. Because right now, I'm only rocking the one good one. The right one lost sensation from when I got my implants. I am praying for the miracle that I get sensation back in my right side. That is the best case scenario. That would be freaking amazing. And I have heard those stories of women getting sensation back once their implants are removed. But if that's not possible, I just hope my left one comes out of this feeling good. One nipple is better than none. And speaking of none, then there's the fear of nipple necrosis, which is when the blood supply doesn't get to the nipple and the skin dies and you could actually lose your nipple. So that's an extra fear in there with the nipple thing. Fear number three, the aesthetic result after surgery. I know I'm in amazing hands with my surgeon, Dr. Dev in Miami. I spent a lot of time researching surgeons and making the effort to go to a surgeon that is trusted, that is getting good results, and that is, you know, who is extremely compassionate and very good at what he does. But it's normal to be nervous about the results, right? I don't even really care what size they'll be after my explant at this point, but are they going to be saggy and empty with all of this stretched skin? How long is it going to take for me to feel confident again in a bikini or topless? All of those things. Fear number four. I feel nervous about how my boyfriend will feel when he sees the new look. I've had implants since before I met him, and naturally I want my boyfriend to be physically attracted to me. I think that that's a normal thing. Honestly, I know his love for me is far more than skin deep, and he supports my decision 100%. He wants me to feel healthy. He wants me to be happy with myself. He's also not so much a boob guy. So I think it's more about how I will feel when he sees me rather than how he will feel when he sees me. But ultimately that weighs on my mind. And, you know, I've done enough work in the self-love world to really feel grounded in that this is a decision that I've had to make for myself, and that anyone who doesn't understand, anyone that's not on board, anyone who doesn't like my new look, anyone who doesn't get that I've had to do this for me and that I'm still the same person, except I'm only going to be better after this. I'm only going to be stronger and more myself again, and more creative and more compassionate and more resilient and all of those things. Anyone that doesn't understand that and doesn't get on board with that and doesn't want to be on this journey with me, because this is about me. This is about my health. This is about me getting well. And I have to prioritize me in all of this. Fear number five, that I get my implants removed and none of these symptoms go away. Holy shit. This is my ultimate fear, because all I want is to feel good again. As you can see, there are some very real emotional and mental health concerns to be aware of when dealing with breast implant illness and making the decision to explant. I want to highlight this because so many of us with breast implant illness are so focused on the physical symptoms, we forget about the emotional toll this entire journey is taking on us. We need to heal what caused us to get implants to begin with, so that when we look in the mirror after explant surgery, we look at ourselves with love. We need to forgive ourselves for the choices that we've made in the past and accept that this is all just a part of our journey. And we need to trust in the healing process, and trust that going forward we'll make better choices for ourselves, because we're coming out of this empowered and appreciating our health more than ever. Which brings me to what's coming up in the final video of this 4-part symptom series. In the next video, we're going to talk about how we can take empowered action to understand our symptoms and track our healing progress after explant surgery. Plus, I'm sharing with you a super helpful tool that I created to help with this. It's something that I originally created for myself so that I could get a handle on my symptoms and also track my healing progress after I have my surgery in November. But I want to share it with you because, hey, if I find it helpful, then hopefully you will too. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so that you can catch all of my videos pre and post explant surgery. And in the meantime, come on into my private Facebook group, Empowered Explant. Come and chat with us, be supported. Know that you're not alone. That is a huge part of this. And you know, it helps keep you sane, I swear. Just having that place to go where you can vent, you can ask questions, you can, you know, chat with women that are literally on the same journey that get it, is a huge weight off your chest. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon.